Getting started with Golang hands-on, and today we'll see how to set up the Go development environment. Initially I was thinking to explain the Golang construct using Go Playground, but I found it that was not very efficient. This will be far more effective. So before we start, I'll be using my Ubuntu based VM which is running Ubuntu 18.04, and I'm assuming the Go language is already installed. If you need any help in these directions, please watch my earlier videos which I have already uploaded. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing we need to do is set up a workspace. Here if you see, I have created a Go folder within my home directory, and then within that it contains the source folder which will contain all my Go relevant code, and I have also have the directory structure github.com and then my GitHub user ID. So the advantage of having these kind of hierarchy is if later if you want to download any other repository from the GitHub, you can download it safely without affecting the existing directory structure. So that's the advantage. Okay, so let's go to my GitHub repository, and I'm just doing we are here tvpk golang, so the golang repository will be downloading, and I'm clicking on clone or download, and I'm copying the link, and then you can see currently there are nothing here, and I run the command git clone and my repository, so it will copy all the relevant stuff here. I can see the Golang directory here. Within that I'll go to the hello directory which will contain a simple hello world program. I'll comment out some other lines for now for better understanding, and if you see the program, it does nothing. It's just importing our fmt package and printing hello world message. Okay, how can I build it? I see. Okay, so this is the hello.program, and the command to build is go build, and it should build, and we see it also created the hello binary, and if we execute it, it will print the output as expected. The other option is to run the go install command. What go install command does, basically within our workspace, which is the go directory, we can see one bin directory will be created, and it will be installed in that location. So all the application binaries will go there when we run this go install command, and it can run from there as well. So one more optimization that we can do, if we add this bin path to our system wide path settings, then all these apps can be executed directly without giving the complete path. So that's what I'm doing. So generally the go path is represented by your workspace, the go workspace, and you see this is my home directory, and this is the go workspace directory which I created, and I am adding this path to the system wide path as well. And you see the go root is the installation path, and I'm also updating with the go root bin to have basically the go binaries and all accessible directly without specifying the complete path. I'll mention these details in the description of the video as well. So let's go ahead. So next we will see how to create a package. So I have created a directory util, and there I have written a simple print.go function, and what I'm doing, this will be part of the package util, and here what I'm doing, I'm defining a function. You can see that there is no main here, so it won't get executed directly, but I'm defining a function. And one more thing to remember, in Go, if you define any function name starting with a capital letter, that will be automatically, that can be exported outside the package. Means we can access that function from outside the package, but if the function name is not starting from a capital letter, so then that function cannot be accessed from outside the package. So here we are exporting this function outside the package, and this function does nothing. It's taking input one string and the output is also one string. We'll cover the functions in Go in some other video, but for now we'll just continue, and it's what it's doing, it's just whatever the input string it's printing, and it's returning some output. What it's doing, it's appending this util with the given input and returning that. So here for simplicity I'm printing both the messages, but this function what it's basically doing, these are like debug messages, yeah. And this function what basically doing, it's taking a string input, appending this util as a prefix and returning the whole string as output. So this is one utility function, and so what we'll try to do, we'll now try to access this function from within our hello Go program. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to include that package, okay, and we also need to, now we are also calling this function. If you remember, so what this function is supposed to do, it should print the hello world, but it should also print the prefix, that whatever the util prefix we had. So before calling this function, one more thing which I want to mention is, whenever you are defining these functions, okay, you need to build these as well, because this is a new functionality. And how will you do so that it should available as a package. So when you run go install command here, so this functionality will be available as a package. And how can you search for that? Again, it's your basically workspace. Within that there will be a package folder, and within that, if you can see this util.a, this got created after we ran the go install command. So now these exported functions can be accessed outside the package as well. Okay, so let's go and to the hello directory and see what is going on there. Okay, so we are also calling this function, and let's go to the hello directory, and one more thing, you can directly run it as well. So go run command is also there. So I'm just running it and I'm seeing what's the info. If you remember the earlier initial simple program, we were just printing the hello world. Now we are calling that function from the utility, which basically whatever input is taking and output, it's just appending this util and printing it. Okay, I'll be sharing all these details, right, the code details in any ways my GitHub repository. So you guys can go through that, and if any queries you can let me know. So before going further, I want to cover one more concept, and that is the Go test. And for that we'll be going in util. We just saw that print.go, we are defining a function which can be exported, and what it does, it's taking one string as input and outputting one string. An output string is nothing but it's prefixing with util, whatever the given string. So Go provides a feature where you can create test for the function. This is like unit testing for whatever functionality you have within the package. So here for that we need to import this testing package, and there is some boilerplate syntax, these arguments. Maybe in some other video I'll cover more details about it. But basically, if you see what is happening, we are defining a structure, and the structure, each entry contains two strings. One is the str and one is what we want. So one is, and basically this is a pair of strings, and what we want, this will be the input string given to that function, and we will see whether we are expecting this output or we are getting this output or not. If we are not and all these cases, so here at least we have 3 test cases, and we'll be running which are part of this test structure which is defined, and we'll be running these test cases using the range. Basically the range operator, what it does, when you can iterate through whatever structure is given. Here there are 3 entries, so we'll be iterating through them, and for each entry we'll be calling the print function, which is we have defined in the util. If you see, yeah, so the basically we have defined the print function. So what are we doing basically in print underscore test dot go? For each entry we are calling the print function, and the input we are giving, you can see the c.str, the first argument, which is the hello world and the empty thing, and we are getting the output. We are comparing the output if it matches with the expected output. So this is the expected output, and we are trying to see if it's matching with the expected output. If it does not match, we are erroring out and exiting. Okay, how to run these test cases, and some of these notations, yeah, we'll be covering in separate videos. So basically whenever we iterate using range, it returns 2 things. One is, first thing is the index, and second thing is the actual value. Here we don't care about the index, we just care about the values. And so that's why this is the notation. If you want to ignore something and you don't care about it, we are just iterating through the structure value, which has 2 fields. One is a c.str and one is a c.mont. c.str is the input, and whatever output we got, we are comparing it with the c.mont. So now how to run this test? The simple thing is the go test command. When you run within this directory, it will run, and this is printing some debug messages, the input and output, and overall those tests have passed. If it would have failed, means expected output, if it won't match with the written output, then it will error out, and it also says how much time it took. So this is a handy feature for doing the unit testing for whatever functionality you are adding. And couple of closing remarks. Actually, Go has some very good formatting options as well, and that's very handy actually. So I can show you. So in general we spend a lot of time in formatting stuff, but in Go that's not needed. So I'll show you what I will do. Maybe I'll disturb the formatting a bit. And okay, so I disturb the formatting, and we see here this is not formatted well. So there is this go fmt command -right, and if I run it and if I reopen it, so it automatically formats it. So it's pretty useful. It saves a lot of time for the developer. So you write all the code and you don't need to bother about the formatting, and this command will just bring everything with the standard Go formatting practices. So that's very handy thing. And one more closing remark which I want to give is, suppose I'll add more changes, right? I'll keep on adding more changes in this repository, and you have cloned it but the previous version. So how can you refresh it? So I'll just show you example. I'll create a directory temp maybe, and within that temp.go, and which was not there earlier, and I'm just committing this new file, and I see now it's created. So what you can do here, and when you go, definitely here you don't see the temp directory. You have other stuff but you don't see the temp directory. So the command to refresh is git. Okay, first we need to see, right, what is the remote, and git remote, it actually points, origin is pointing to actually the original parent repository. So I can safely pull those changes, and the command to pull those changes is git pull origin. Origin is nothing but whatever is pointing to this link, which is the actual my parent directory, the master directory. Origin master is the branch details. So here we have only one branch, master, that's it. There are no other branches. Git pull origin master, and we see it's fetched the additional stuff whatever we created, temp. And if I see do now ls, and I can see this directory, and which is nothing but, so this is one handy thing. And for all these git relevant operations, the git needs to be installed. I'll also paste the git installation steps in Ubuntu 18.04 in the description of the video. And if any comments or suggestions, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your queries. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.